Hey, what is going on, everyone? I'm going to just wait a minute or two for people to kind of funnel in here. I
Good
hope you guys are
morning.
doing well.
Top of the morning, rainy day here.
Yeah,
Hope you're doing
indeed.
well wherever you are. Enjoying the trading week. It's been pretty light thus far. Um, Not seeing too much today, guys. So it might be a relatively quick session as well. But we'll give it another minute or two for people to flow in.
I can take some questions in the meantime if you guys have anything for me. Feel free to drop it in the chat. And we'll get started here at around, 7:03, we'll say, a.m. Eastern or Central. Get another minute and a half. But yeah, just like Aiden said, it has been quite light following the FOMC event that occurred last week. Haven't really seen too much in terms of setups, kind of back in that ranging market phase, but we'll see what we have today. Maybe take a trade or two. So I'll go ahead and share my screen now. We can get started. Let me know if you guys can't see my screen or can't hear me.
Gotcha.
We all good to go? Everyone can see that?
Yeah, I can see it. You might want to do the canvas mode, whatever it's called, just so the screen is bigger.
There we go.
No, the one on the far right. Yeah. I think that's it.
All right, sweet. All right, we'll go ahead and get started, guys. I know people will be still funneling in throughout, but if you guys want to just save your questions for the end, that would be great. Just because I can't see the comment section right now, but I'll do my best to answer those as soon as we both finish here. So, like we both said when we first started this live, we have been in quite a bit of a range ever since the FOMC event that occurred last Wednesday. We haven't seen too many setups. I have a couple areas of interest. I'm only going to be speaking of, I think, probably 3 or 4 different pairs today. And then we can go over maybe a few that you guys are looking at as well. But nonetheless, not seeing too much on the charts, kind of just waiting for price to set itself up. But until then, we have to just be patient. Again, not every day and not every week is a trading day or trading week, and that's okay. If you guys want to become professional traders, you have to understand that. People, love to be in the market. That's sort of just like gambling. You might as well just go to Vegas. You'll have more fun. So Euro NZD, as spoken of for the past, month, we know that we are coming into this 1.7, 1.71 region. Why is this an area of supply? Well, we can see that within this overall downtrend, lower low, lower high, lower low, we ran the previous high. We ran the liquidity. We never maintained our momentum above it. We snapped right back down into the range and then continued lower and made that lower low as we were expecting. So the reason why this turns supply now is because every single lower time frame, higher high, higher low, a higher high, you would expect another higher low for another higher high. It's just market structure. So when we created this higher high and then this higher low, we came into a prior level of demand. And this level of demand did not hold. We can see, obviously, we push right back to the downside. Normally, what we would expect is that higher high to form. So now that did not happen, this demand is now invalidated. This becomes, it flips to supply. So this is why this region of price is very, very appealing to me. I'm really liking not only the fact that it's supply, but the round numbers, cycle levels that are associated with that level. So we can see here we still currently are pulling back up into it. Higher time frame. This is an overall pullback. Lower time frame, it's a bullish trend. So we really should be continuing to look for buys until we reach this blue area around 1.7, 1.71. So are there any lower time frame plays that we could potentially be looking to buy this from? We go down to the 1 hour time frame. What we will notice is we had an area of accumulation. Okay, we had our higher high, our higher low, higher high, higher low. We're now looking at a potential higher high now. We are above all EMAs, 1 hour, 4 hour daily, and we can see on the 15-minute time frame, I believe it is. If we scale into this, you can see that we came into our last point of demand. We filled imbalance here between this wick and this wick is straight imbalance. We had our last sell candle, which actually swept this low here and this low. So we swept all the liquidity and we made a higher high from it. So we actually came into it upon the accumulation here. We can see we are slowing down in price and accumulating. We have formed relatively equal highs right in here. So that kind of just further tells us, hey, look, well, once we come down into some level of demand, we're going to be looking to take that liquidity. So it's very, discrete lower lows, lower highs, very not trendy, just very small pullbacks here and there, looking to accumulate orders to then take it long for another leg to the upside. That's exactly what we now have. So we can see that in here, we're kind of just chopping around, accumulating, and then we finally had the expansion, and now we're really starting to move. So if we can get a pullback into discounted price, I will be looking to buy this. So back down, really just back down into this overall last sell to buy before the expansionary move to the upside. And then we also have a tinier region right in here with this last sell to buy. So really anywhere in between these black lines, I would say this is probably in balance on a higher time frame. If let's go to the 4 hour, yeah, it is. And we can see that with this wick, between this wick and this wick is our last point of imbalance. Everything else really has been filled. So we really don't need to worry about anything lower. But that makes sense because we did accumulate. We are in a counter trend bullish run. We haven't reached the higher time frame level yet. So we need to get back down into discounted price to be looking for buys. And we can see that around this level here, we have the 1 hour 50 EMA. So upon any pullback or retracement, I will be looking to buy this. Next, Euro USD. So Euro USD, I believe, will continue to go along until we reach our higher time frame zone. So really, this is our area of supply that I think we can push back up into. So any excuse to buy, in my opinion, would be valid. We have not come down and taken this 1.034 level. Now, this level we have been speaking of for quite a while now. And we can see if we scroll out to the higher time frame, this is the low from 2017. We still have not taken that liquidity yet. I do believe that will be a level of interest for these institutions. We will be looking to take that liquidity. And then higher time frame liquidity that's being built up, we can see that we are just rejecting the quote unquote support level. So we're even building more liquidity. So I think that once we finally come back down into this level, we will see a very strong volatile move. But until then, I think we can, see a little bit more of a pullback before continuing short. So if we scale into this lower time frame, we can see that. If I just scroll out a little bit, we swept liquidity with the sell to buy. Okay, we pulled back, reacted from demand, and then continued long. So that higher high was formed, higher low, and now we're looking at making a higher high now. Not to say that we can't come short, because technically we haven't made that higher high. So the range is still between this low and this high here. Until we make the higher high, we can really pull back further into our lower levels of demand. However, what we did today was quite interesting. On the 15-minute, and I believe that there was some sort of 5-minute, I think that's what I marked up this morning. Yeah, there's a 5-minute tiny little level of demand here, really just in this region of price to sweep this low here. This was June the 19th, I believe that was market open. So I'm going to go to the 9-minute now, and we will see the reaction from that level over to the right. Now, what's interesting about this is that we came into this level at the right time of day. We swept it. We very strong sell off and then very strong buy up. 3 o'clock in the morning. This is Central Time. So this is prime London session, London session open. So we should be looking for manipulation around these times. Now we're coming into New York session. So this is, again, another time we can be looking for some sort of manipulation. So coming down into that demand, we have broken this counter trend structure. We can see lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high. We have cleared this level, and we have started to maintain our bullish price action above it. So I really want to get back down into discount, potentially around 1.0488, filling up this imbalance here, coming back down and mitigating out of these orders for a continuation for the remainder of the day. So that's what I'll be looking at for Euro USD. But we have to just be aware that we can potentially push down further into our lower levels of demand here before continuing to rise. So this is why today and really this week is just kind of tricky. Nothing is really standing out to me in terms of like, wow, I have to take this setup. Stuff is setting up, but we just have to be careful and use proper risk management. Let's see. GBP CAD. GBP CAD, sort of the same deal here. If we go to the higher time frame, we can see that we did create this massive sell to buy that swept tons of liquidity, again, at 3 in the morning, prime London session time, London open. However, we're still at premium price. We need to get back down into discount. As we can see here, we swept a lot of liquidity, then we broke and made a higher high, right? We broke counter trend structure, taking these equal highs. I believe that we will continue long on this. It's tough because will we react off of our intraday play here, or will we come down further, higher time frame, and fill up this inefficiency and come back down into our last sell to buy region, which is really what I would like to see. However, we could easily just get an intraday play to go long, and then overall maybe a pullback back down into 1.5740. So it's just tough because we still are in premium price. We still haven't hit that discount level yet. So if we just pull our fib from the low to the high, we can see that we haven't even reached 50% yet. So we really want to get lower than the 50%. We want to trade below it because now we would be in discount. We still are in premium. We don't really want to be buying in premium. So again, it's just kind of tricky. We're kind of stuck in a range right now. But we did have a sell to buy coming into London open. So that is of interest to me. We do have relatively equal highs here. If we get the pullback back down into these two levels, I will be looking for longs. That would be a valid region to look for longs. So there's really nothing to play off of here. We can see that we had this tiny level of demand here and here, really just lining up with our prior support. This is the candle that swept the liquidity. So really anywhere in here over to the right is where we should be looking for buys. NZD USD, nothing much. I'm not really looking at much here. We haven't reached our overall level of demand yet. So this is why it's so important to be doing top-down analysis. If we go to the weekly time frame, we scale out, we can see that we have this level of demand with this imbalance that has not been mitigated yet. We have not filled that. So I do believe we will continue short back down into 0.6150, 0.61, or even further into 0.6 psychological level. So that is always an option. So we do need to be looking for continued shorts. And we can see that higher time frame. Let's go to the 4 hour and check out the 4 hour now. We can see that we made our lower low. We pulled back, made a lower high. Now we did sweep this high, but again, we just swept it. We did not maintain our bullish structure. We swept it, and then we push right back down into the range. This can be classified as a liquidity run over anything else. We again made a lower low, pull back, lower high.
Nate, can you hear me?
Used to be selling this.
Nate, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, go to the 12 hour, and I'm almost positive I gave that level out last live session, if not just to our VIP members. I can't remember now, but I'm pretty sure that I did. That 12 hour up close right there. Beautiful reaction. Congrats if you took that one from last live session. But that's perfect example of mitigation right there.
Yep, definitely. Yep. So that was the level that we called out. Perfect mitigation. and we are below the 12-hour, really the daily 4-hour 50 EMA as well. So going back down to the 4-hour, we can see that we had that reaction and we pushed lower. We pushed lower, and then we finally have broken the counter trend structure. So where's the counter trend? 1-hour time frame, we can see we've made a higher high, a higher low, higher high into our overall level, higher low. We haven't broken structure yet. And then we did not make a higher high. We made a lower high. So now we made a lower high and then that lower low. So we have broken the counter trend after reacting from our level, which is what we want to see, in the direction of the overall trend back down into higher time frame demand. So I'm thinking that any pullback, potentially back up into our prior level where we initially broke. So our last buying volume before the sell-off, we can see that this is a region of price that we could be looking to retest. Hopefully we can get back up into this region. We do have a lot of imbalance here. So any pullbacks to short would be valid for me. There's just nothing like 100% totally clear at the moment. Last one I want to go over with you all, GBP JPY. This is something that I think I just gave out to our VIP members. We had a level of price right in here. This is our last area of demand. Really, this entire area here is demand. So we pushed down into that level. That was an area of interest for me. Now, I wasn't looking to buy it from that level, but if we had a reaction to confirm, then I would look for pullbacks to long this. If you go to the higher time frame, we can see that we are in an uptrend. We are making higher highs, higher lows. I was hoping that price would have gotten a little bit lower and came lower into this last level of demand before the expansion, right? We never hit that, but nonetheless, we came down into a lower time frame area of demand as I just went over, and we had the reaction. So now we can probably consider this higher low, higher high, higher low, and then we're looking for that higher high next. So just following market structure, and it's okay. We can't always, get exactly what we're looking for, even though I really wanted to get deeper down into this level. Sometimes we don't, and that's okay. And we just have to react off of what we see next. So we can't be so focused on this level and just praying to God that we pull back down into it. Well, that's okay because we made the higher high and then we came down, reacted from our demand. And now we're looking to make another higher high here. So that's something we just have to scratch. If it comes back down into it, great. Then we'll still be looking for longs. But until then, we can still be playing off of intraday longs to take it long. So 1 hour time frame, we can see that we had a massive run, sell to buy. We broke that counter trend structure. You can see the counter trend that was forming here, pushed down into our area of interest, and then reacted strongly from it. We do have a little bit of these equal lows here that I believe will be taken. So hopefully we can see an overall pullback. But again, this is such a strong move to the upside. Will we get this huge retracement back down into our level? Maybe, maybe not. Nothing. It's not really pertinent at the moment. But if we do pull back, that would be nice. We can see that really between this wick here, this is our last selling volume candle, sell to buy before we broke the counter trend. And just anywhere in this region of price. I chose this level because it's a cycle level 162.000. So if we get a pullback back down into that level, I will definitely will be looking for longs. And we can see that lines up in between our golden region of 71.78.6 back down into that discount level. So that's what I'll be looking at. But again, guys, nothing much. I haven't traded this week. I'm just kind of waiting for my setups to form. If we get anything, we will let you guys know. But I'm going to hand it over to Aiden now, and he's going to go over just a few pairs before we take some questions. Aiden, I believe you're muted still.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go.
All right, cool. So yeah, Nate pretty much covered everything, but I am looking at a couple of kind of pertinent setups at the moment. So here's one of them. You can go ahead and mark down kind of these parameters. This is just a trade idea, obviously. We do not give financial advice. Okay, but I'll just kind of freeze it here for a second, and you can take this down. What I'm looking at is for a continuation intraday on GBP AUD. And I'd like to use our London session open candle as our focal point, right, for mitigation coming into New York session today, right? So we typically want to see, we've talked about this before, London session having created the low of the day, right? Whereby New York will give the retracement and London's low should be protected, right? And in this instance, I'm liking this run up because we have very, very clean, sorry, I'm buffering a little bit, but we have very clean trend line liquidity here, okay, this descending liquidity. And so I fully expect this to be run out. Ultimately, the highest high within this pool of liquidity, and I would expect us to trade up higher, okay, into this inefficiency here at 7968, okay? And so I think this is the draw on liquidity here and going ahead and running all that out. And so I'm looking for excuses to buy into that target, right, into that liquidity. And London session gave us that opportunity today with this nice down close candle, 3 a.m. time and price. We would naturally expect an intraday retracement into discount for a continuation, right? So it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward stuff. Hopefully that makes sense, but that's kind of the level for you. I mean, simple ABC. You know, I don't have to really even fib it to know this is probably a 61.8, 71 pocket. But if we can just get that run lower coming into New York today, engineering liquidity here, get that run lower, continuation higher, right? Really like to see that. And that kind of falls into alignment with, and sorry, in case you can't see, I'm looking at 76983, really kind of 7700 area as the entry POI. And obviously stops can go, you know, wherever you'd like to risk, but, you know, London low should be protected in my opinion. So that comes into around 7638. All right. So Euro AUD falls into alignment, pretty much the same thing as GBP AUD. Now this one I do believe we also talked about last live session where we have perfectly engineered equal highs to the left, right? And these highs right here, right? So these are to the T, perfectly equal, engineered, right? They engineer that for a reason, double top, pull that liquidity above the highs. As we trade higher, that's the draw on liquidity. So again, we're looking for an intraday retracement on this one, just like GBP AUD. Okay, intraday retracement, New York session open, continuation higher into equal highs. I do believe we can trade ultimately up into kind of 5,400 area. Okay, but I'm looking at in terms of a POI today, obviously we have our inefficiency created from London session, that wick, that wick. So really all we need to do intraday is dip down into that. All right, you just need to dip down into it. We can obviously fully fill it, that would be fine. Or we can just slightly trade into it and then run higher, right? So I'd be looking to execute in this region of price here. And then intraday targets can obviously be those equal highs that I just showed you to the left. Okay, at 5,280 would be intraday. All right, so those are the kind of the intraday setups. There's one that I'm not as keen on, but it's Euro CAD, and I'm looking at this currently trading in an area of supply at the moment. And I'm still kind of intrigued by this one because we have all of these equal lows here. We have all this liquidity being pulled beneath these lows, and so therefore we should treat retracements as excuses to get premium to sell into that liquidity. Okay, and so I'm looking at potentially this supply at the moment, and I'd like to see a reaction first, right? We're running the high at the moment, coming into New York open. So if we can see an engulfing back down to the downside, more or less breaking structure here, right? So if we can Obviously, you're making the run higher now, but if we can break lower, I'd be looking to take it on the pullback, right? So simple stuff. Right? We're just trading into the supply, waiting for the reaction and confirmation on the lower time frame. Right? Lower time frame buy to sell. Okay, we want to see lower time frame buy to sells trading into higher time frame buy to sells as POIs. Right? So watch out for this one. See how we react coming into 8:30 and equity market open as well at 9:30. Right? Because I'd really like to see this thing engulf back down. We have this pooled liquidity here as well. All of this imbalance, and ultimately we have our draw on liquidity with those equal lows. Okay, all the way down here at 3,400. All right, so kind of what I'm looking at, what I'd like to see, this does appear to have somewhat distributed in price here as well on the 1 hour time frame. All right, so we just need the confirmation of the reaction, respect the POI. All right, so that pretty much covers it. I'm also kind of looking at Euro GBP. Now, this is one that, you know, ultimately I still think we'll be trading much lower. Obviously, we had a significant run lower on the weekly time frame, and we're getting somewhat of a retracement at the moment. But we didn't really trade into and kind of fill in this old gap here. And so I'd really like to see that at least accomplished on the weekly time frame. And so I'm treating retracements as excuses to swing this thing back down to the downside. Right, and if you look at this wick, this weekly time frame wick, you can see how much liquidity that ran out. So all of these highs, even this high, if you go to the lower time frame, you'll see that these highs here were also run. All right, so I'm really liking that as a liquidity run in order to trade back down the other way. Right, so in that case, you know, this 3 hour candle is really interesting to me. Right, and so I'd like to see how price reacts at this 3 hour candle. I also still have this POI to the downside underneath these equal lows, just as a possibility. So if we do trade lower first, I wouldn't be surprised if we got some type of reaction back up into this candle, whereby we can be looking for continuations lower again. Right, because ultimately, remember, higher time frame, we are still bearish on this cross. Okay, and this is a kind of textbook sponsor candle right here. Right, we have the intraday high here. Okay, that liquidity run, and you have the ultimate higher time frame liquidity that I denoted a few moments ago. That was also run with this candle. Right, so this, by definition, having run liquidity with a very sharp reaction back down to the downside is absolutely institutionally sponsored. Okay, so, you know, you don't necessarily place a limit. Obviously, we're lower time frame still been bullish, right? So you might really want to wait for a lower time frame buy to sell that trades into this higher time frame buy to sell as confirmation. Or if you're a riskier trader, by all means, you can certainly just place limit orders, right? It's all dependent on your own risk appetite, right? But that, in addition to everything that Nate covered, I believe is all that we wanted to cover today. So I'll go ahead and revert out of this screen share, which, how do you do this, Nate? I can't remember now. Okay.
There we go.
Beautiful.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Gotcha.
Great. All right, guys. Well, as you all may know, we do post smart money concept videos to the Trading Up platform. I think we are on episode 7 at this moment. We just finished up with the Mastering Psychology. So, guys, if you are struggling with your psychology and potentially over trading and really not seeing that consistency, go check out that video. It's very insightful. Gives you some
and
tricks.
I did that one, guys, and I really wanted to kind of step in and make sure, and it was really more so an introductory psychology video if you haven't watched it. But really to make sure that everyone has the right mindset and approach before even getting into trading, because oftentimes, you know, you start at the outset with trading with false expectations and kind of inverted realities, kind of exacerbated by companies that I won't name, but you can probably assume a lot of network marketing companies out there, et cetera, who promote the wrong thing when it comes to forex and trading in general. So check out that video if you haven't. That's really powerful. I'm likely going to be doing a part 2 on psychology as it pertains to actually trading, right? So the first one covered mindset and approach before getting into trading, but the next one will look to cover kind of psychology, as you're entering trades, as you're managing trades, etc. So really powerful. And psychology, in my opinion, is, and it's arguable, but it is just as, if not more important actually than your strategy, right? So it's something that is kind of overlooked, not frequently talked about, but it needs to be addressed in this industry. So definitely recommend watching that video. It's really powerful. And stay tuned for the next one.
Yep,
yeah, sorry, I
definitely.
cut you off, Nate, so I don't know what you're going to say.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys, if you guys have any video ideas that we could potentially create, feel free to drop them in the chat here. I'm going to screenshot them because I want to base stuff off of what you guys want, right? We can sit here all day talking about, imbalances, sponsor candles, volume, market structure. But if you already have an understanding of that, or, you need help elsewhere in another component, then please feel free to drop, just a general, facet of the smart money concepts, and we can definitely make a video of it. I'm thinking about doing some form of supply and demand. I know I talk about supply and demand a lot here, but it's really important that we do understand these levels and why these levels are met, and not only how you identify them, but the reasoning behind it. I know many people will tell you, hey, look to buy here, look to sell here, but they can't give you a definite, or it can't give you exactly why price does that. And it's all based upon these institutional banks and their method of trading and how they take liquidity, and how we as retail traders can identify these levels and react off of them. So I think I'm going to do that. I think I might do a Wyckoff video. I think that's a really cool concept, can really provide high risk reward trades. But guys, if you have anything that you want us to go over in terms of smart money concept videos, please feel free to just drop in the chat here.
Anything you guys are still struggling with, just kind of shoot ideas at us and we'll see what we can come up with for you guys.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Let me go over some questions here. Someone said 9 minute. Are you serious? Yeah. That's so important. Doing top-down analysis is so crucial. And I get many questions about people saying, like, hey, what time frame should I be trading? Should I be trading the 15-minute? Well, not necessarily. Go scan the market, scan each time frame and see what looks the best. So again, going back to that Euro USD example, having the understanding of structure in the general area of interest around the time of day, I can then scale in or scale out depending on what looks good. And I found the 9 minute to be the best looking, right? It had the little bit of imbalance. It had the area where price took liquidity. So the 9 minute, it's not that I trade the 9 minute. It's just so happened that the 9 minute provided me with the best looking setup.
Yeah, you definitely want to flick through the different time frames and remember the markets are fractal. So, flicking through time frames just gives you, kind of alters the perception and can provide clarity for you instead of just sticking to one time frame. Now that's for sponsor candles and imbalances, et cetera. But in terms of market structure, it's, I think, completely fine depending on who you are as a trader, whether that's intraday, swing, scalping, et cetera. You can stick to a couple time frames for understanding your structure, right? So for me, I'm more of kind of intraday, intra-week. I don't really like to be in trades more than, a couple days. That's just my personality. And so I kind of stick with the daily 4 hour, 1 hour as my kind of points of reference for identifying market structure. But if you're a scalper, then, maybe the highest time frame you use is the 1 hour. And then you go to 15 minute, 5 minute, 1 minute, whatever, in terms of market structure. Now, again, that's different than identifying sponsor candles. We want to flick through everything, every time frame to kind of best identify our entry points for precision. Hopefully that makes sense.
Definitely, guys. As mentioned before, there really isn't much besides what we have already looked at. So I know some people are saying some other pairs. I don't really feel it would be valuable for me to go over them just because it really isn't much to talk about. But yeah, stay tuned for our Smart Money Sundays videos we create every Sunday. Gives you a little bit of an insight as to what we're looking at for the week. Obviously, stay tuned for the Trading Nuts Smart Money Concepts videos. They're all free for you guys. This is all free. It's trying to give back and provide some value to you all. If you want to take it a step further, we would love to work with you. Please feel free to go on our website, www.arielfxtrading.com, and book a call with us. It's a free call just to see if you have the same characteristics and mindset as we do, because we only are looking to exclusively mentor specific people. And if you want to see if you qualify, feel free to book a call and we can get on with you and speak about your goals and how we can best help you. So let's see. Guys, if you have any other questions for me that are personal, I see one relating to our course, just please message me personally. How to use this concept to level your trading like a hedge fund trader? What's your advice? So hedge fund trading is a lot different than retail trading. There's so much more that goes into it. We are actually in the process of establishing a hedge fund at this moment. It doesn't have much to do with manual side. It has more along the lines of the algorithmic based. And that's another one of these videos. And I believe we will be doing a podcast with Cam soon regarding, the differences in hedge fund trading and retail trading and how it relates to algorithmic trading. And that's going to be a really, really cool video. So please, if you want to learn more about how algorithmic trading works, feel free to check it out. It will probably be released in a few weeks. But it's so much different than what you would expect. And, there is such a negative connotation to trading in general, but it really just comes down to the individual trading. It's not Forex that's bad or not the stock market that's bad. It's just the trader. It's just people just don't know how to properly trade. And when, even if they create algorithms, they don't know how to properly create them because they don't know how the market works and how risk works when using it. So we break it all down step by step, really A to Z, and how we can best utilize the automated side to trading to really produce that passive income stream in a safe way, but still churning modest returns. So yeah, stay tuned for that video. It should be released in a couple weeks. I'm really excited for it. Is Forex and indices are related? Everything, any asset class can be traded using smart money concepts. Any asset class moves the same way. It may not look the same, but it's still based upon institutional volume. And there are clues based upon our smart money concept teachings that you can utilize. Now, it may not look the exact same for something like Euro USD and then US 30, which, it's an indice and a Forex pair. But the same concepts apply. So if you understand the concepts, you can probably trade just about anything.
Yeah, I don't know if he was getting at that or whether they're correlated. I mean, yeah, there's always a degree of correlation with, obviously, stock prices are relative to the US dollar, and then everything in the foreign exchange market, the base currency is for majors, USD. So there's correlation in how strong or weak the dollar is and how assets are priced. Does that make sense? But you'll also see correlation with stocks and the Aussie dollar and NZD. I don't really try to get too much into it because at the end of the day, what matters most is just what price is telling you on the chart, right? So try not to get confused by looking at, trying to correlate something like US 30 and the Forex pair and trying to time up some type of correlation factor. I don't know. Just look at the charts and listen to the charts. Price will tell you everything.
Mm-hmm. Guys, if you haven't checked out our YouTube videos, they are very valuable. For those of you who may not be able to afford a course or any type of mentorship, doesn't even have to be with us, but for anyone, we give out a lot of free content on our YouTube, and specifically within the Smart Money Concepts videos. People absolutely love them. So feel free to check them out and and give us feedback. We'd love to know what you guys think, what we can improve on. We're always looking to give back and provide value to you all. And it's free too. So highly recommend it. Who's here trying to form a trading group? Guys, we have a full trading group, and we even have a free Discord that you can all join. We post some free setups every once in a while. We have a community of like-minded traders. Feel free to check it out. The link is in our bio on our IG. It's Ariel__FX, _. So if you're interested, check it out. We send some free, wouldn't call them signals, but some free areas of interest for you guys to take advantage of. All right. Any other questions, ladies and gentlemen? Anything else I can help you with? Any other suggestions for videos that we could create in the future? Anything you guys are struggling with? Really want to help you guys out as much as I can. But if you are interested in really working with us one-on-one and developing your skills here and making trading a career, if you're serious, then to see if you qualify for our exclusive mentorship program by visiting our website and booking a call with us. Just want to talk and see if you're the right fit.
I would drop the link in the comments, but for some reason I don't have a text field. So if you have that, you can drop links.
That will be one of them.
There it is. Yeah, I see it.
There we go. How much is my mentorship? That's something we can talk about personally. We try to make everything that we provide affordable. We understand that, times are tough right now. And we don't want to be like everyone else charging ridiculous, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 for our program. We just don't feel that, even though we are highly respect what we bring to the table here. And we have taken traders from really any level of experience to six-figure funded traders. We don't feel that pricing that high is necessarily important, because that's not what we're about here. We're really about trying to help you all. So we try to make it as affordable as possible. And we do offer payment plans as well. So yeah, there's so much false hope out there. No, I'm sorry. I can't say the price. Can't do that here. Yeah, there is a lot of false hope out there. There's so many companies out there that, even I've been a part of when I first started over 4 years ago. That just provide you with, they tell you, oh, I can do this for you, I can do that for you, and then they never end up really working with you, and that's really sad to us. And that's really our mission, and that's something that we posted really on the front page of our websites. We wanted to be the traders and the mentors that we wish we had when we first started trading. So identifying all the problems that we faced and creating solutions for them to help you guys, so you guys don't have to go through the same stuff. Maintaining motivation. Wow, that's a really deep question. I don't even know how to answer.
You got to put things into perspective, bro. Think about it. And I kind of touched on this in the psychology video, but most people are literally born with and accept the fact that they're going to go to school for 20 years of their life and be broke their entire life until they get out of school and get a job to start making money. So people accept that and are willing to, and they willfully will go to school and put in 20 years of work before making money. Okay. Why do people think that they should be able to only put in a month of work in Forex trading and start making money? Why aren't people willing to put it? And I'm not saying it will take 20 years like the schooling system. Absolutely not. That's what's great about it. But you have to put things into perspective and realize that something like this takes time, right? It takes experience, and you can only gain experience over time. And experience you're going to find that experience is your greatest teacher over anything that I can tell you, any course that you'll take out there, any strategy really that you're trading, because you can make any strategy profitable. At the end of the day, it's what experience do you have? Have you failed enough? right? Have you failed enough times and embraced that failure, or do you turn around and just quit like most people because, you know, you haven't made money in a month or two, right? Like I promise you, just put it into perspective. Why do people go to school their whole lives but aren't willing to just put in a year or two of learning and trading? And again, everyone learns at different paces, but you know, you have to kind of step back and think about that, and it's not, and understand that it's not an overnight process. And that goes back to what I was saying of, you know, false expectations, inverted realities, selling false dreams, and people come into this industry with preconceived notions and just the wrong expectations. And then when something just goes wrong, they ultimately quit, right? Because they had that improper expectation to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to, you know, if that was your mindset, you got to, you know, sit back and you know, kind of reset and understand that this is a process. You need the necessary experience. And prioritize your education and mastering your own mind and your own emotions and psychology through that experience. So that's how you maintain motivation.
Yeah, I don't even know how many times when I first started. I started my sophomore year, actually no, end of my freshman year of college. This was almost 5 years ago. I didn't have many friends in college at all, and that was because I was just focused on trading. And I don't know how many times I've failed and lost and wanted to give up. But it's that mindset and the understanding that if I give up, that's it. Like there's no coming back from that. So why give up? If you give up, then you're not going to get anywhere anyways. So it's just like here, I like to put it in this perspective. You go to the gym. Now, many people here probably go to the gym, try to, you know, get bigger. So what happens when you're doing your reps and it starts to hurt, starts to feel uncomfortable? They put the weight down, right? How is that going to grow your muscles? Get uncomfortable, have it start to hurt, and then start counting your reps. That's how you really build. So the same thing with trading. You have to be able to understand and embrace failure, and then go from there and still never give up. So it's just one of those things, guys. And what I will tell you is that if you guys are following us on our IG, you all know that we don't post lifestyle pictures or videos. We just don't feel like it's important. But look, you can just see what trading can do for you if you just really embrace failure and never give up. It's really one of those powerful things. And I would encourage you all to start with a foundation in education. Start with a foundation in education and then work your way towards working with a mentor. That's kind of how we have restructured our program, is to help you gain the knowledge and understanding of everything that you need to know first, and then work with you one-on-one. That's how we reinforce what you've learned and how you grow. So I have another funny question here. What's your favorite song to wake up and hit the charts to? I like to listen to jazz music in the morning. It's very calming.
I like lo-fi beats. You guys should check that. I mean, it's pretty popular on Spotify, but that gets me in the kind of zone. And that's just in the morning when I'm drinking my coffee and looking at charts and stuff. But you know, as you get into the afternoon, I'll start listening to don't make fun of me, but I like Youngboy, NBA Youngboy and Polo G, and you know, the typical Post, etc.
Yeah, I like
from India.
Post Malone, you know, all that good stuff. Yeah, I love that you all are coming on from different areas of the world. It's awesome. Where can I find Smart Money Concepts full strategy videos? On our YouTube. We don't break them down into its specific, like all in details and secrets, because we want to save that for our mentorship and our courses. But we do give you very good information and value that breaks down the different components of smart money concepts. I would say that, and I could be wrong, there could be others out there who have really great smart money concepts videos, but I would say ours is one of the most easily able to be understood videos, and that breaks it down from A to Z. So really check them out. They're free on our YouTube, Smart Money Concepts. Let's see what else we have here, guys. Old school rap. Yeah, that's some good stuff. Some good throwbacks. Is there any way we can predict the market that will be going to consolidation, save us some premium decay?
We don't trade options.
Yeah.
That's what he's referring to. I would assume that, premium decay just sounds like options.
Yeah. Hello from South Africa. Enjoy the channel. Awesome. Yeah, one of my business partners is from South Africa. Beautiful, beautiful country.
Pretoria.
Really want to spend some time. Yeah, Pretoria, Joburg. How do you react when you lose a trade? This is a really good question, guys. So when I was first starting out, I used to get very upset, just like everyone probably does. But you learn over time that once you have a trading plan in place, once you have a rule-based system and know your strategy works and you have seen consistency with it, you don't even care when you lose a trade anymore, because you know how your trading goes. You know that, okay, let's say you're 50, 60% profitable with at least a 1 to 5 risk reward. Well, do the math. I mean, you're profitable. So if you lose a trade, that's okay. It takes time. And then this is where it all comes down to psychology. So, check out that video that we posted a couple days ago. Really, really valuable.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of have like a personal rule for myself that if I ever lose 2 trades in one day, I just walk away, right? You take it on the chin and you come back the next day, just walk away. And that has, kind of, I've ingrained that in my own psychology and trading plan where, I promise you, it's saved me so many times from, revenge trading. And so you got to work something like that into your personal trading plan. If you ever lose like 2 trades in a day, just walk away, or you'll end up continuing to trade and make that money back and revenge trade, etc. So that ever just happens, just literally go take a walk, go work out, go get your mind on something else, and come back and do it again, right? But you can't let losses get to you, right? You're using risk management. Who cares? You lose 1%, right? Because ultimately what you have works and that your strategy is profitable over the long term.
Yep, definitely. You guys trade any other markets? I trade US 30 on occasion. I really don't trade anything else. I believe less is more. Focusing instead of trying to trade like 5 or 6 different asset classes. I like to focus my attention on Forex. I just like how Forex pairs move. And they present smart money concepts a lot easier. I mean, any asset class presents smart money concepts. I mean, it's all the same, but Forex, you're easily, for me at least, I can easily see it on the charts a lot better than other markets. How many trades are I typically taking a week? Depends. I've taken 10 trades in a week before. I've taken 0 trades in a week before. It just depends on what the market gives us. A couple weeks ago, I really wish we had a live session last week, because there were so many, or really I think the week before that, there's so many setups and opportunities. The latter half of last week and the beginning of this week, there really hasn't been much. I haven't traded at all this week, just because my rules haven't been met for the trades and the setups that are presenting itself. Now, we do have just a few of them. If we reach our areas of interest and can confirm it, then yeah, I'll definitely take a trade, but I'm not, getting into the market just to get into the market. What is the title of the psychology video? I think it's called Mastering Psychology or something like that. If you just go to the Trading Nut YouTube, I think you'll be able to find it. Episode 7, I believe. Can I trade smart money concepts on daily and 4 hour? Yeah, you can. You can trade it on any time frame, but like I said before, you should be doing a top-down analysis. So looking at the weekly, then going down to the daily, 4 hour. Looking at structure, looking at areas of interest, looking at where price is looking to come into. Where is the liquidity, higher time frame, and then you can trade lower time frame for your entries. But again, it's all kind of subjective. Like I have an area of interest on EU on the 9-minute time frame. You could also have it on the 6-minute, the 15-minute, the 25-minute. It just depends on where the areas of interest are within market structure, and then what time frame looks the best. So here, I'll actually just share my screen one last time, if you all can see. And I can go into Euro USD really quick. And we can see that, well, market structure is definitely higher time frame bearish. However, we are looking at a counter trend long, right? We're making a higher highs, higher lows on a counter trend pullback. We haven't reached our higher time frame zone yet. This is an area of distribution. We also have a tiny little level of supply yet, but we still haven't come up into it. So higher prices are expected, at least for the short term. So that's the market structure. And then what we can see is, the higher high, higher low, looking at creating a higher high now. We actually did react off of, I believe it was a 5 minute. Yeah, sorry, my mouse isn't working for some reason. 5 minute time frame, little tiny level in there. We took the liquidity from the beginning of the week. So now I can probably expect maybe a closure towards the end of the week bullish, meaning we swept the beginning of the week's low. And now that probably will leave that wick on the weekly time frame for more of an engulfing to the upside and make that higher high. So we reacted off of the prior demand level. And at the time of day that we're looking for, London, New York session, 3 in the morning, prime London open, sell to buy. We broke the counter trend structure. So we can see in here, okay, well, where is an area of interest? Well, the 5 minute, I don't really see much. I mean, really, this is the overall demand, right? From here to here, that's the overall level. And you can simply just look at taking price. I think it's at what, 1.0495 maybe, just for this last sell to buy. But I just was flicking through the time frames and stumbled across to the 9 minute time frame. We can see that this last buy candle here was followed by the sell to buy. So this was the candle at 3 in the morning that swept the liquidity and came into that level. Sell to buy, and then it just looked prettier because we have an imbalance here that we haven't come into. Maybe I can just even go to the 10 minute. 10 minute doesn't really look that pretty. And yeah, you can see maybe this sell to buy here, but again, we kind of already mitigated that level. I don't know, just something like that. That's what I mean by flicking through the time frames and just seeing what looks pretty. Because maybe on the 10 minute, or even like, let's say the 8 minute, the 8 minute time frame could be a beautiful, beautiful, like engulfing sell, engulfing back up to the upside. But maybe on the 9 minute, it doesn't look like that. Maybe there's a big wick. You see, that's why you just have to flick through the time frames and you'll see which one's best. But I chose the 9 minute just because it looks prettier.
Looks like we're almost out of time.
Yeah. 2 minutes left, guys. I'll stay on for a little bit longer and then we'll head out. What's a real strategy meaning to you guys? So many out there misleading. A real strategy is something that can be not only, I think of the right words here, pretty much proven or described in a way that makes sense from an economic and fundamental, and technical standpoint. So something like a trend line, like retail. What's a trend line? Like it's just structure that has liquidity below it. I mean, it's not anything that's actually valid for a potential trade. If it comes down and hits a trend line, well, why is price buying from that level? Any asset class is moved by big banks and institutions. We don't do anything. None of anyone out there does anything because we don't have the money. They do. They have the billions of dollars. They move the market. How do they make money? That's what we have to figure out. Well, they look at taking our liquidity, aka equal highs, equal lows, sweeping our liquidity, and then reacting from that and pushing in the right direction. They have to come down. Let's say it's a sell to buy. They have to come down and mitigate their sells, or else if it continues long, then they're going to be in drawdown on their sells. That's why they mitigate. That's why they come into these sponsored candles, these institutionally sponsored. They're the ones that create it. So that's why smart money works. And that's why it's a valid strategy, a real strategy, because it's based upon how the market actually works and moves, not just a trend line. Sometimes trend lines will work because a trend line, you push down into a trend line, but it really is actually a sponsored move or an imbalance that lines up with a trend line. So that's why, retail works sometimes, but I don't know. Hopefully that answered your question. What if you don't see liquidity? Do you still trade? Probably not. I mean, that's I would say the number one thing I look for, part of my rules. Higher time frame mouse controls, lower. Yeah, I would say so, definitely. Make sure your rule book before taking trade if you don't mind. There's a lot that goes into it. I have a trading plan, guys. If you book a call with us on our website, we provided you our trading plan for free. So yeah, feel free to do that if you guys are interested in learning more. But yeah, it was great speaking with you all today. I know there wasn't too many setups this morning. Hopefully we can see some more for the remainder of the week. So join our free Discord if you want to keep up with these setups and analysis. But yeah, I'm going to turn it off here. Have a great rest of your day. Happy trading. Use good risk management. And we will see you guys in 2 weeks for our next live session and next week for our next Smart Money Concepts video.
Thanks, everyone. Cheers, guys.
Thank you, guys. Take care.